a test there in First Thessalonians. It's such a beautiful word. It really is about agonizing over looking and examining. Now, you might even see it in some translations say examine, but pulling apart and really trying to find out what the truth is there. And likewise, there's going to be times in Scripture to do that. That's even the Scripture. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, test all things, hold fast to that which is true. That is God telling you, don't just accept things because a church says it or someone says it, but to test all things. God is not against science. God created science. Science is merely the observation of God's laws, the laws that God put into place. So don't confuse testing and teaching and experimenting with the things of man. It's not. God calls you to do it. God calls you to love him with all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your body, but what else? All of your mind. You don't need to hang your brain on a coat rack outside of the church to be a believer. Test these things. Hold fast to that which is true. You are listening to the Jesus Christ Show. To ask your question, dial 800-520-1534.
Hey, Josh.
If you thought you missed the lowest mortgage rates in history, you're in luck because they're back. Mortgage rates are near historic lows again. So if you have a mortgage, refinance it and forget it. You'll never have to worry about refinancing again. Network Capital Funding is offering the low 15-year fixed rate at 1.875% with a 2.01 APR. Incredible! Network Capital has built a reputation for saving people time and money with a process that's fast, simple, and secure. Our 15-year fixed rate is 1.875% with a 2.01 APR. Chances don't come often, and you may never see these rates again. So refinance it and forget it. That's a 15-year fixed rate at 1.875%. Yes, 1.875% with a 2.01 APR. Call the experts at Network Capital now. Call 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1-HIG. As in home run. Call now and save big on your refi. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1448. NMLS ID 11712. Not licensed in all states. Visit NMLSconsumerAccess.org. Licensed by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation and the Financing Law. Number 603-787. An equal opportunity lender. Rates subject to change and may not be available rate law. Discount points may apply. Subject to approval. Call 800-500-1448 for additional cost information.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International. Compassion International has a network of over 300 church partners in Haiti, poised to bring critical relief to those suffering because of the recent earthquake. Make your $40 one-time gift now by texting the keyword radio to 97646. Prescription products require online consultation with a healthcare provider and a form available if the provider determines the prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means the prescription medication to treat ED is super affordable at ForeignHomes.com. And now with your first doctor's visit free at ForeignHomes.com. That's right. Zero copay, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's really good news. To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address. ForeignHomes.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/joy. It's amazing what we're asked to share online, especially around the holidays.
Oh, says here, upload credit history to get a DIY snow set.
Honey, you know I don't really like the snow.
It doesn't look like snow is included. No one really tries to be insane. But every time you give up info and privacy, share driver's license for free samples of Ranger Dandy brand jerky. Sure, why not? You may give up a little savings too. Norton 360 with Wi-Fi helps keep your digital world merry and bright. With device security, the VPNs to keep your Wi-Fi activity private, and identity theft protection, all in one. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but everyone can opt in to cyber safety. Accept cookies to get holiday cookies? What matters I do? Visit Norton.com/Jewel and save 25% or more your first year of Norton 360 with Wi-Fi. That's 25% off at Norton.com/Jewel.
Boom again for relief factor. I've read that pain is the #1 reason people go to the doctor, which I think is why relief factor is being so well received. And I'm here right now with Pete and Seth Talbot, who are the founders and owners of Relief Factor. And we know, Pat, that most people really do want 100% drug-free solution to their pain, like back or neck pain, shoulder, hip, or knee pain. And hey, Relief Factor is working.
As I was aging, the pain in my hips was getting worse and worse. And when I started taking Relief Factor, I am pain-free. I love it.
Testimonials like that are why we created the 3-week quick start and then discounted it to only $19.95 to make it as easy as possible to give it a try.
Do what so many others are glad they did. Call 800-500-8384 or go online to relieffactor.com.
Compassion International has a network of over 300 church partners in Haiti, poised to bring critical relief to those suffering because of the recent earthquake. Make your $40 one-time gift now by texting the keyword radio to 97646.
Checking KFI traffic, we do have a crash in the Peel Beach area. 405 northbound to 605, that's along the right shoulder. We got Mid-City on the training front of Crenshaw. Crash here has the 7-lane block, and they are requiring change. If you're heading up to the mountains, Highway 18, those are southbound between the Old Waterman Canyon and the 138 emergency road work there has all lanes closed. KFI in the sky, let's get you there faster. I'm Jonathan Walsh.
It is the Jesus Christ Show. I am your holy host. Happy to be with you. A little bit of Joe Escalante, our buddy Joe Escalante, the bass player for the Vandals, pushing his voice to the maximum limit. A very devout and faithful man himself, and a good friend of producing me on the program. So that's our little Christmas tradition as well, to make sure that we get Joe praising the Lord, and that's fun. I find it delightful. Okay, that's the reality. I find it truly delightful. Talk to another Susan. Susan, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Merry Christmas to you. How can I help you?
I just am struggling with a few things with, of course it's not you, but it's how you're portrayed by others. And one of them, I lost my mother and my brother 3 weeks apart, and I get a lot of, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And personally, I feel like you've given me more than I can handle. And I don't really know how to work with that, and I especially don't know how to work with it around this time of year.
You know what's strange, Susan? We were talking about this a little bit earlier, about how tradition or certain people say things and then they kind of become memorized. People say, okay, so Scripture says that. Scripture doesn't really say that. So let's look at where that comes from. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, it says, "No temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man. And God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will provide the way of escape also, that you may be able to endure it." That's what's really said. Now, people kind of mutate it into God's not going to give you more than you can handle. Well, if someone gets hit by a car and they die, that's more than you can handle. So people don't, they don't understand really what that means. And there's a lot of very specific words, so let's hear that again. No temptation has overtaken you, but such as is common to man. People die, Susan. It's something you knew from the earliest years on this planet. Whether it's a goldfish, whether it's a pet, and then a grandparent, people die. That's that's the one absolute. You knew that. No one knows when they're going to die, but you knew people were going to die. The unfair part is that it happened in the way that it happened, right? They were so close, and it's the way it's set up, and you're dealing with younger people here and a parent here. Those are the things that you feel are unfair, right? Because now that memory, that mourning period is attached to something that should be filled with joy. So this verse, really what it's saying is, don't expect to have a different life than other people. Humans die. Humans will leave you. As dark as this sounds, it's been stated many times before that every relationship ends in death or breaking. How cynical is that? But that is the reality. So that verse is saying, don't expect to not have flat tires, have people die in your life, have horrible things happen on happy times like Christmas, because that is life. That will happen. And that first verse is saying that. Now, secondly, says, and God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond that which you're able. So God is always going to give you an out, a place to run, a place of solitude or sanctuary, if you call upon and have that relationship with God. That doesn't mean that your life is always going to be at peace. It stinks that happens. But if death is so sucky, life should be great, right? That's why death is so sucky. Right? Because they lose life. You didn't lose your life. You're still here, and unfortunately with that comes the burden of the memory. But the whole pain that you have with losing them is that they stopped living. They didn't have a choice. Their life is over. You have a choice. You have a choice how you live now, how you apply that knowledge. And there's a point where you have to take that and say, this did happen, they did die, I do miss them, but I'm still here and I'm still living, and I need to, one, be a curator of their museums and tell people about them and share about their humor and their insights and their intellect and all those things. But you have to live as well, and if you don't, you dishonor them. You dishonor the power of life itself and the fact that they can't live it anymore. And I think it's a hard thing to remember in your place, but I'm going to ask you to try really hard to think upon that and find those blessings in Christmas time and the peace and the fun and the times that you experienced with them, but also that you're still here and you are important to other people too, and they need you to live your life and to share that with you. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
I know it's not fun to hear, and it may not be what you wanted to hear, but it's the truth. And the truth is you are here, and you need to find that place of living in. Amelia, how can I help you?
Well, yes, this is just kind of a Bible question, and I thought today might be an apropos day to ask you about Mary, and they give the genealogy for Joseph in the Bible, but I've never seen the genealogy for Mary, or where her people came from.
Well, the belief is you have a genealogy in Matthew 1:1, and then you have a genealogy in Luke 3:23 through 38. The common belief among theologians, and there is some discrepancies, and there are some that disagree, but the common belief is that Matthew is the genealogy through Joseph, and Luke is the genealogy of Mary. So if there are more complications in there, some people would be confused or frustrated by similarities in names, and some of that you have to think of the names that look unique to you are not unique then. So if you saw two genealogies with the name Bob, you know, who doesn't have an Uncle Bob, right? So you look through there and they both have a Bob in there, an Uncle Bob, you wouldn't think twice about it. But you get a more complex name from 2,000 years ago plus, and you look at it and you go, oh, well, that looks like a unique name. It shows up in both genealogies. They must be the same genealogy. It's not the case. There are other things there. Some say that it's important to make sure that both on my foster father's side, Joseph, and my mother's side, that they're needed to show a line as descendants of David and the like. So there would be those that argue in both of those you see that to show that in any form, in any direction, that you could find me in the line of David. And that being important, they wanted to show it in both the father and the mother in this case. So Matthew 1:1 believed to be traced through Joseph. Luke 3:23 through 38 is believed to be traced through my mother. So that's the short of it, essentially. There's much more. I encourage you to do some digging in there because it is a pretty fascinating topic, and it's interesting to look at those genealogies now with that new bit of information. Go back, look at it, and see how it plays out a little differently in your mind now that you have that information. You are listening to the Jesus Christ Show. To ask your question, dial 800-520-1534.
I'm Layla Muhammad, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A water main break this morning has flooded between 10 to 15 homes in Desert Hot Springs. It happened shortly before 1:30 in the area of Crescent Drive and 5th Street. The water department is there. The main has been shut off. New York City is requiring all private business employees to get vaccinated. The mandate begins tomorrow.
I do not expect people to be losing their jobs because we have a body of evidence that shows that people make the decision when it's really the moment of truth to make the decision to get vaccinated.
Mayor Bill de Blasio says any person who works or interacts with the public needs to have proof of at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. Businesses could face a minimum $1,000 fine for not complying. Officials say employers must keep a vaccination record of their employees with supporting documents and be prepared to show it should there be an inspection. A bakery in the Pittsburgh area has unveiled Frosty the Dough Man, a 7-foot-tall sculpture made out of bread. Mancini's Bakery says the snowman was sculpted from Italian rolls and twists. The bread sculpture weighs about 200 pounds. It took 7 workers who lifted in and out of the oven. The bakery celebrated Christmas last year with an 8-foot bread Christmas tree. That just sounds good. I want an Italian roll or an Italian man. All right, hey, let's check traffic right now, Jonathan. We do have a stall on the 15 in Orco.
That's right. It's going to be on the southbound side right at 2nd Street. That is blocking the center lane. To the Seal Beach area, 405 northbound at the 605 crash there along the right shoulder. And look out in the Corona area. 91 westbound in McKinley, that's blocking the right shoulder. We had a closure in the San Bernardino National Forest, Highway 18 north and south between Oldwater, McKinney, and Lower 138. Emergency road work there has all lanes closed. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jonathan White.
Southland weather from KFI. Expect mostly sunny skies today with highs in the 50s inland and along the coast. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Layla Muhammad.
I am one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC.
Which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body.
I am living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. See in your needs. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Piazza. Life is just too short to be listening to bad podcasts. Every week we will bring you the latest, and dare I say, the greatest, in podcast releases as we chat with some of the smartest and most talented folks in the business. You can listen to the podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We have a lot to celebrate this holiday season, but COVID-19 hasn't gone away. So let's make sure to keep our celebration safer by following these tips. Get vaccinated to protect loved ones, and get a booster to keep your immunity strong. Wear a mask in all public indoor settings, and if possible, keep gathering small, short, and outdoors if you're uncertain of everyone's vaccination status. Bring on the cheer safely this year. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Start fresh at World Store and Save Event with Project Stores Clear Storage Totes starting at $2.28 and Closet Made Bright Wood Closet Kit starting at $119.98. Valid through 3/18. Selection varies by location while supplies last. U.S. only. I design plus good storage and pricing excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
If you're even thinking about renovating, you have to check out the House website and app. That's H-O-U-Z-Z. More than 65 million people are using House because it's the best tool out there to help your project turn out right. Why? When you hire a pro on House, they can show you in 3D, using House tools, exactly how your finished project will look. So for remodeling made easy, just go to House. That's H-O-U-Z-Z. And find a local pro to give you a great home and a great experience.
Our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the ultimate once-in-a-lifetime music event, is coming to the CW. The biggest superstars in music finally step back on stage. Featuring Coldplay, Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, J. Cole, Khalid, Darius Rucker, Cheap Trick, Journey, and more. Music Festival. 14 acts, one stage, one television network.
Thursday night at 8 and Saturday morning at 12:30 on KPLA 5, the CW.
Visit MechaniCars.com before you purchase your new automobile this holiday season.
KFI congratulates Koala Sharp and Mo Kelly for their well-deserved recognition at the LA Press Club Southern California Journalism Awards, picking up not one, but two nods for Best Personality Interview and Radio Journalist of the year.
You deserve it, fellas. Just really warms my heart.
Time to expand the trophy case. KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Kalikimaka is the wise way to say Merry Christmas to you.
It is the Jesus Christ Show. I am your holy host. Happy to be with you this Christmas. I'm not going to give out the number because we've only got a little bit time left. So we'll get to those calls in just a moment. I invite you to check out our website, thejesuschristshow.com. thejesuschristshow.com if you're new to the program or anything like that, or you want to find out more about our archive club, you can find that out there. And yes, this will be posted on our archive club when it's done today. You can find that there for those of you that are part of that. And I really appreciate that. Another year goes by and we spend this time together. We know that we tackle things differently. Hopefully we're looking at solutions rather than problems. They're not always fun to hear. I get that. But we're looking towards truth. And when you're dealing with things, dealing with pain, sadness, or dealing with the holidays, a lot of people want to just give you platitudes or the kind, soft words. And that's, everything here is always done in love. But you're going to hear things that are filled with truth, and not just the sappy, happy stuff. And Scripture is very clear to say, beware of, better to have a friend who might harm you than someone who doesn't love you give you a kiss. Because you get caught up in the fact that you're receiving something that seems pleasurable, but it's not. Not everything that's pleasurable is good. Not everything that is painful is bad. And that's a hard reality to understand sometimes. Jeff, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Hello, Jesus.
Hi, Jeff. What's going on?
Well, my question is basically I was without a job, feeling a desperation, and I have a child, so it wasn't just for myself. There's something like a desperation of a parent with a kid and in need. So I didn't have any work, and basically I was out of money. I was starting to lose everything. And I got a job. Now, the difference in my joy and feeling from the desperation to the security of the job is unexplainable. But my question is, basically surrounded around, should I be thanking God in that time of desperation, thanking Him for that just as well as when I got the job thanking Him? It really toils with my mind as far as, what is about the joy thing. I'm just a human being. I'm not a saint, so I don't feel joyful when I'm about to lose my place, my place to live, and I have kids.
Of course not. I mean, you're going to naturally feel the pain of the situation and get lost in that. God wants you to see the fact that God never leaves you. And that out of all the things you had to choose to lose, hopefully God would be the last thing you want to lose. Therefore, there's always joy in the presence of God. And it's the fullness of joy. The fullness of joy is not just the, enrapture and the yelling and jumping. If you look at the Old Testament, often in the Old Testament, you see that there's an experiential aspect to joy. That there's, when during a festival and they're making noise and they're singing and they're out in the street, and that's a different type of expression. There's going to be another part of joy in this fullness of joy that is odd to humans because you're used to thinking, well, joy and happiness have to be some sort of elation based on this thing that's happening to me. But it's not about that. Either you are in a state of joy because you know there is a God who loves you, and that God has a plan for you.
And should I thank Him for not having just as well as having?
Of course, you should always pray for those things that God gives you and the things that God takes away. Because for whatever reason, they aren't the best thing for you. And there are things that just land in the middle where they're just, poor decisions, or that season has ended and it's time to move on to something else, or whatever it may be.
So you're saying that the Bible does say that we can be joyful in the midst of the desperation of losing my place and not having any money or anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's because you're not, when your joy is there only because of things, then that is where you're seeking you're sinking the entirety of yourself into those things.
Well, I know we say things, but when you have to feed your kid, it means much more than things.
Yes, I understand there's a process through all of that. However, if you're trusting in God to see other opportunities or to use your skills, and I don't mean in a lazy sense, if you're sitting back and you're not doing anything, and you're not, the very skills you have to offer anybody for money, Jeff, they come from God. So to have joy in the fact that you even have those skills, there's joy to be had in all situations, big and small, in all trials. But the focus is off. Of course you want to feed your child, and there's no joy in seeing a hungry child. But there's joy knowing that there are places that will feed you. There's joy in knowing that there are places that are designed to give you a leg up. There's a joy in knowing that love or that even desire for charity comes from the direct heart of God. Man doesn't sit there going, yeah, I want to help for the sake of help. Those are propulsions from God.
I see.
And to be in that state of understanding that rejoicing in hope, as it says in Romans 12:12, that you are rejoicing in not what's in front of you, but what you know, what is capable, because God is there. And that very capability wouldn't exist without God. That very possibility of hope. And to consider all things joy, it says in James 1:2, when you encounter various trials. Why? Because those trials are going to strengthen you. They're going to build up your character and who you are. There are many things. Everybody wants the simple way and believes the simple way is the godly way, and it's not. And if it comes out of a box and you mix it with water and then you have a blessed day and a blessed life, that's not how it works. Trials by fire and the things that you learn the most in life. The reason why you're calling me today is because of pain, because of sadness, because of a trial that moved you intensely.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe the difference in in my feelings of the not no security and then security. All of a sudden, it was like, wow, everything's okay, and it doesn't seem like that's very deep. It seems like it's circumstantial.
Well, let's hope not. That is belongs in a place where you are now tasting of a more deep and fulfilling joy, a real joy. Because if it's just about stuff coming in and out of your life, Jeff, then what is that?
Well, isn't that God itself, though? Isn't that circumstance God?
No, it's a piece of the gift of life and being able to experience these the things around you and making decisions, good decisions, hopefully godly decisions that align themselves with the will of God, so that life has productivity and meaning while you are here for the limited time that you're here. And those all point to God, sure. But the fullness of joy comes from understanding that there's no one thing that's going to bring you all of that. The fullness is understanding that comes from God and God alone. Even in times of pain. I've seen people that are very sick, and they've been married for a long time, and one of them is sick. And regardless of how much pain they're in, their love never ceases for their mate. They still have that intense love, even though they're in intense pain. Because the pain shouldn't dictate whether the love's there or not. And likewise, any pain in life shouldn't dictate the joy of the believer and the understanding that God is with you, and that God created you, and that God has a purpose for you, and that God loves you and is with you, even in pain. And that's just the opposite of what the world teaches you from moment one. Moment one, they say, okay, you come out running, you grab as much as you can, make as much as you can, live in the biggest house that you can, drive the most beautiful car that you can, get the most beautiful woman, or get the smartest man, or I guess you can get the most beautiful man and the smartest woman as well. And you get those things and you're good to go. And then what you do is you find out later, these people never had joy at all. They had some fun times hedonistically. They got to do what they want when they wanted to, and that felt nice. But it doesn't sustain itself. It can't, because it's just things on top of things on top of things. There's never really that understanding. It's almost like holding up a small pocket mirror and having joy standing behind you. Well, yeah, you see a bit of the face, maybe the eyes. You can make it out and say, I think that's joy. You see it, but it's not. You're really just holding the mirror. You're not even really holding joy. And that's what these materialistic things can do oftentimes, is that people begin to think that they're the joy, and they're not. And they go through this manic cycle of where they have to buy things to make themselves happy, and that doesn't work, so you have to buy bigger things. That's never going to work. And you don't want that for your child either. You want comfort and security. And that doesn't always come from things.
Right. I noticed that my kid was almost more okay when we were in desperation than I was, and that says a lot about, the innocence of kids, because she for some reason wasn't as panicked as I was, and I'm all caught up in the things like you're saying.
Well, oftentimes, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's usually the case. A lot of times the kids aren't freaked out. One, kids are going to watch you on how to react. However, they don't see the dire straits that you do, because kids are much more hopeful than adults. You see the problems and the hurdles, and that's all you see. But the child looks at the situation and says, well, all I know that I'm with my dad more than I used to be when he was working all the time, when he was this. That's because that's what comforts the child. The child so knows that you love them and that you will do anything to provide for them, that they stay in that state of comfort. And what I'm trying to get, the place I'm trying to get you to, is that right behind you is your Father in heaven. And he wants you to have a healthy and balanced but similar attitude as your child, knowing that God will provide, not when you're sitting on a couch with your finger in your nose, You need to be productive and active in the process, but that your Father in heaven doesn't want to see you sitting with nothing. And that your child is at peace knowing, well, Dad's right here. He's going to take care of me. And that peace is actual joy. Why it doesn't interrupt the child. The child's life is like, everything's A-okay. Because that child, in their simplicity, believes it's all going to be okay. Is embedded in hope, embedded in comfort, embedded in joy. And that's the same place I'm asking you to get to. You are listening to the Jesus Christ Show. To ask your question, dial 800-520-1534.
Every year, our team provides food and toys for less fortunate families. Hello, my name is John Okoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I remember one Christmas when my dad didn't have any work, and we didn't have any money. I can still recall the look of shame on his face when my brother and I only had one present to open. I was a brat and said something I shouldn't have. To this day, I am still sorry for what I said to my dad. I was selfish, and I wish I could take it all back. So I know what it's like for some families. At Rooter Hero Plumbing, we want to make Christmas special. So all this month, we are donating a portion of every plumbing and drain cleaning service we do to families in need. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from our family to yours. Thank you.
PO 102-8886.
Hey parents, have you ever wondered how to talk to your kids about the crazy things happening in the world? As great as schools can be, they often don't teach important things like how to work, how to start a business, the golden rule, or how the economy works. But kids need to learn about big ideas like these, which means it's up to you. So, how do you go about it? By telling your kids stories. And that's the power behind the beautifully illustrated Tuttle Twins books. The Tuttle Twins is a series of children's books that have sold over 2 million copies already. These books teach important ideas that teachers and textbooks don't really discuss. And they make it super easy for you to help your kids learn the values that our country was founded upon. If you want to help your kids understand how the world works, so they can be a positive part of it, go to TuttleTwinsRadio.com to get your set of books. You'll get a 35% off discount and free activity workbook today. That's TuttleTwinsRadio.com.
It's amazing what we're asked to share online, especially around the holidays. Oh, says here, upload credit history to get a DIY snowman kit.
Honey, you know I don't really like the snow.
It doesn't look like snow is included. No one really tries to be unsafe. But every time you give up info and privacy, shared driver's license for free samples of reindeer gamey brand jerky? Sure, why not? I'll give up a little safety too. Norton 360 with LifeLock helps keep your digital world merry and bright. With device security, a VPN to keep your Wi-Fi activity private, and identity theft protection, all in one. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but everyone can opt in to cyber safety. Next, cookies, tickets, holiday cookies? Don't mind if I do. Visit Norton.com/Zoom and save 25% or more off your first year of Norton 360 with LifeLock. That's 25% off at Norton.com/Zoom. This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Traffic, we do have a crash in the orange area, 22 east on at Main Street, this one has the off-ramp blocked, also a couple of vehicles here on the right shoulder, traffic is backed up to the 57. Keep Corona on the 91 west line of McKinley, look out for a wreck there along the right shoulder. After Mid-City, 10 east on a Crenshaw, crash there has the center lane blocked. Still following the side, I'd get you there faster, I'm Center for Life.
No. It is the Jesus Christ Show. Little Harry will have to be with you this Sunday on the every Sunday. Sunday 19th. answering the questions, talking about things that truly matter in life and the afterlife. I encourage you to be bold and brave and go to the phone with your theology question or life situation question anywhere in the United States. 800 520 1534. That's 800 520 1534.
Yes.
Sandy, welcome to the Jesus Christ Show.
Thank you, and I feel very blessed to be speaking with you.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. How can I help you?
Well, I need some help and guidance and how to help and guide my daughter, who is 24. She lost her fiancé a little over 2 years ago.
Incredible.
Next week, and he was a disabled veteran.
Goodness gracious, was there anything leading up to it, an illness, or was just happened?
Well, it was meds that the doctor had prescribed and overloaded him, and they had just moved into their new house that very day that he bought for her. And she was having passed away. And I think the stress of everything, she was 22 at that time, so she's no longer the happy, vibrant daughter that I had, and she's helping her. She's still reeling from the pain after almost 2 years, and I realize there's no quick rules and we need to be over something, but now she's experiencing a lot of anger as well. No matter what I do, questioning God and why all this happened, and I just don't know how to help her anymore and what to do for her.
Does she come to you with questions, or?
Yes, she does, and we're very close, but I'm not totally equipped because I'm a devout Christian. She's raised Christian, baptized and everything, and now she's questioning all that, which I understand many people do when they have tragedy. But when I see the pain that she is still in, and now the anger, and it's so painful for a mother to see their child.
Of course. You know, there's a couple of things that are interesting, Sandy. When people go through tragedy, you're absolutely right. They tend to question faith and question God out of frustration and pain. But isn't that an interesting result? Because if there was no God, then how could you say it was bad if someone died or someone lived or anything? Without God, there is no rule. There is, and I mean rule like a ruler. There's no measuring rod in which you can judge good or bad. Who's to say? Is it cultural? Is it just someone's opinion? Where does that good and bad come from if you don't have God? So it's interesting that people go to that place when, in actuality, the reason why she feels sadness is because she knows there's goodness in the world, and she compares this experience to what she believes goodness is. And that's the big, heavy theological concept. As far as the day-to-day, the real, true dealing with it, it's not something that you can turn on or turn off. The things you're describing are the natural part of mourning. 2 years is a significant time of mourning, yes. But it sounds like she's going through, the different normal cycles of denial and frustration and anger with God and all of those things. I think the best thing you can do is what you're doing, Sandy, and that is to be there for her when she has questions, and to help her through that, and to not coddle her, and to be, a little tough, so that you can not fall into that, where she's coming to you just for pity all the time. That's another part of the cycle that gets very ugly and sad, because people just quickly go, she's no longer her anymore. Now she's the woman whose husband died in the middle of the night. And that doesn't define who she is. Yeah, the things that happen to her, the sadness, doesn't define who she is unless she allows it to define her, and not to stop the break and really stop being there for her when she has those questions. I'm sorry for all this loss. That is a lot. It's very sad in addition to dealing with it. During that time. I'm just feeling loving for her, but she's firm too, so that she doesn't just get in that cycle of pity and sadness. She's more than all of that. And there's a life that takes place there that she can celebrate as well. And there's going to have to be growth and moving on.